Mental Health Monday on Radio City Talk with Mick Coyle.
Radio City Talk.
My name's Mick Coyle. Welcome to Mental Health Monday. We're on the day ahead of World Suicide Prevention Day. Over the course, hopefully over the next 24 to 48 hours, you're going to be hearing a lot about the incredible work that's been done right across the globe to try and prevent suicide off the back of those new figures for the UK that came out towards the start of last week. Today on Mental Health Monday, though, we're going to focus on the story of an incredible young man by the name of Alfie. Now, Alfie is currently raising money for Everton in the Community's People's Place, which will be a mental health facility. We've talked about it before, for the community in North Liverpool, but for people from right across the Merseyside region. This is an incredible young man who is just 10 years of age, and I've recorded this week's show because, you know, live radio and children sometimes don't mix, but also we wanted to make sure that we brought this story across in the right way. This is a young man who's been through a very, very difficult time, but he's turning things around. Throughout the entirety of this interview, Alfie's mum, Alison, was in the studio. At the part one, you'll hear Alison does appear from time to time. Part two, we focus purely on Alison's side of the story when Alfie wasn't in the studio. So I just wanted to make you guys aware of how we'd framed this interview, because I think the story that Alfie tells is a really poignant one and also a really important one. He's doing incredible work as well, but we've also got to be aware that, you know, this guy, little guy, is an absolute superstar, but also a very young child as well, something that Mum Alison is absolutely aware of as well. We touch on that in part two. First up, though, part one, where I get a chance to sit down and have a chat with Alfie from Alfie's Squad. OK, so I'm very pleased to say we've got Alfie with us in the studio and Alfie's mum, Alison. Alfie, how are you? Great to see you.
I'm good, and it's great to see you too.
Thank you for coming in. Now, Alfie, it's fair to say you've been a busy young man over the last couple of years, and somebody has been telling me that you've had a couple of special guests come into your primary school. Just tell us who came into your classroom.
Michael Keane and Theo Walcott, and then we had loads of different TV stations, such as like Good Morning Britain, BBC, and Granada Reports.
And they came in. And tell us why they came into your school.
To launch Alfie Squad, which is a fundraising...
A fundraising campaign?
Yeah, fundraising campaign within Everton and the community to raise money for the children's section in the People's Place.
So the People's Place is this new mental health facility that's going to be built just where Goodison Park is pretty much. And it's going to be for people from all different walks of life. And you're going to be fundraising for a special sort of children's section within it. What might be in that children's section, do you think, Alfie?
Quite a lot of different things, and I'm really excited for it because it's really going to benefit and help lots of children who went through what I've went through.
What sort of things do you think it might do?
It'll help people cope with what's gone on, and it'll be a good place for people to meet people in the same situation, because a problem that I've found with what happened to me, it was 2 years ago now, and there's no help. I didn't have a group support, which really didn't help. It was just, right, you've got 6 weeks of this with this person who most of the time hasn't went through what you went through, just trained. And it was just like, for the first, I went through 3 different counsellors, went through all the 6 weeks, except one where I went through 5. And it was just, once the 6 weeks was finished, what on earth am I supposed to do now? Who am I supposed to talk to? Because it's not the most common of things, especially, now that I've realised a lot of people do go through it. I thought I was one of the only people. I didn't know how many people went through what I went through. And my God, it was tough. It's just so many different emotions. You want to be able to try and get over it, but at the same time, it's extremely hard because you've got to juggle so many other things. In school, I was the only person who went through my situation, so in school I had no one other than the counsellors. But then once I got Everton in the community involved, it completely changed everything.
Have you found that people have said to you, Alfie, I've gone through exactly what you've gone through? Have you found people sort of through Facebook and social media sort of said, that experience that you've had, that was a bit like what I went through?
People in my class, they've said, oh, I lost, my grandparents. It's basically the same thing. And I'm No, it's not. It's completely different because it's just a whole different, like, land. So you've got passings, which will happen to most people, like small health issues, and then there's when people take their own life, which is just, it's hard because it took me a while to realise it was his choice, and I don't really know anyone else that's went through my situation.
And that can be really difficult, can't it, if you feel like you're going through something on your own. Obviously, your mum's going through the same situation as you. How great has your mum been?
She's been absolutely amazing. Like, whenever I'm upset, my mum, you'll always comfort me. And it's just, I know I can talk to my mum. And it's a lot harder for you, isn't it?
I think it's harder for you.
But you've got to juggle trying to make sure I'm happy and also yourself. And then it's just, yeah, again, Everton in the community has helped both of us a lot.
Are you pleased that the football team that you support, when you needed some help, offered to help? Is that a nice feeling?
Yeah, it wasn't initially mental health. I wanted to help the homeless, but then I was like, I told them about my dad. Then they saw the bit about my dad and was like, why don't we do it on mental health, because that is extremely big. And I was like, wait, what, really? It's big. And I was so surprised that there was other people. I knew one, maybe two other people that had lost a parent. I didn't know it was very popular. And even then, it wasn't from mental health illnesses. One of the people that I knew, the parent that died, was my teacher. So it was just tough.
So you started raising money, didn't you? You've raised a lot of money. Do you know how much you've raised so far?
I think it's coming up to 7,000, and there's 2 people waiting to jump out of a plane as soon as the weather picks up. Yeah, and they've raised 1,500 to go towards it as well.
Excellent. What sort of things have people been doing, Alfie, to raise the cash?
Donating.
Putting their hands in their pocket, that's a good thing. Jumping out of planes, that's another good thing.
Drawing oil paintings for you.
Yeah. We've had a Liverpool player's dad. Well, the player's just been Conor Randall, who used to play for Liverpool. His dad drew us an oil painting. It's really good, and we're still looking to sell it for a lot.
We're hoping to sell it or auction it, and then get prints, smaller prints to sell off before the match.
What does it feel like when you see people donating to the cause, that you're asking for money and people are going, absolutely, Alfie, we'll help you out if we can?
I remember, it was the last game of the season against Burnley last season, and before the match we were in the fan zone fundraising, and then at half time we went in to get a hot dog, and then I was looking for the sauces, and then I had my jumper on and I was trying to find it, and then I asked someone, and oh, it's over there, and it said, wait, you're the boy that was fundraising outside, here's a £5, put it in your pot. I was not expecting that.
Which is good. I hope you did put it in the pot and didn't spend it on more hot dogs. You've got your Alfie Squad hoodie on today, looking pretty cool. Just tell us about the design on the front there. They look to me like a pair of goalkeeping gloves. One different, one blue, one white.
Right. So we got the 2 goalie gloves because I'm a goalkeeper, and then we've got Alfie Squad because that's what we came up with.
How many people have you got in the squad now? Do you become part of the squad by donating?
Most of my class have been like, when are you gonna get? When can we buy the jumpers? When can we buy the jumpers? I have no clue. Please stop. Right. If anyone from my class is listening, please stop asking me. It gets frustrating.
Alfie will let you know when the jumpers are ready.
Yes.
If the jumpers are ready, he'll let you know.
Yes, I will.
In the meantime, you can just donate to Alfie's Squad.
That would be very appreciated.
Now, you're all over social media. You're probably too young to be on social media. But Alfie Squad, if people type that into any social media fund, they'll see...
I'm on Google.
Google.
On Google.
You can Google Alfie Squad and you get all the information there and all the different stories and things that you've been interested in in the last couple of years as well, including meeting Michael Keane and Theo Walcott, which must have been something pretty special. In terms of the fundraising, £7,000, that's a lot of money. Are you hoping to raise even more?
Yeah. It's the main goal. We want to get as much as possible. We'll set little milestones, like we want to get 10,000 and then push it up to 12,000, 15,000, so on and so forth. But it's exciting because I know that there's going to be a lot future, like, for Alfie Squad, and once the People's Place is opened, I hope that we can get even more. What's the next thing that's coming up?
We've got some plans with Everton, hoping to do a children's gala, which will be coming up to raise awareness. And we're doing backpacking and
so much,
all sorts of different things.
Keeping busy. How old are you now?
I'm 10.
10. So you're going into year 6,
Yes.
is that right? And then is it high school after that?
Yeah.
So it's a big year coming up for you as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Good stuff.
My cousins have been saying, like, it feels like you've been in primary forever. And I'm like, same. I feel like I've been in primary forever.
Alfie, thanks for coming on the show today. I'm going to have a chat with your mum now. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Nice one. Alfie Squad. You can find all the information. Just Google Alfie Squad. 1,001 different pages come up, including links to where you can donate to Alfie's fund. And also we'll get links up on our social media. Mum Alison's here now. Alfie's not in the studio now. He's been through a lot, hasn't he? You've been through a lot as well.
Yeah, it has been difficult. It's also got harder for a couple of months and then started to get, I wouldn't say easier, it started to get more bearable. But we do have certain things that will trigger him and myself. For example, May is when his dad passed away and it was his birthday. And that he's very, very sad during May, but then perks up again when everything's over.
In terms of bereavement services that are available for people who've been lost to suicide, there's organisations like SOBS, and I'm sure you've been well versed in the sort of help that might be available to families like yours, but specifically for children, it's such a particular thing, isn't it? A particular set of skills. Alfie was talking about the counselling that he received on a relatively short-term basis.
The counselling that he received, while it was good, it was all the same. The counsellors were all lovely, but it was all memory boxes, talking about memories that he's had of his dad. Now, the problem is twofold for children. They don't have that many memories, so they think that they haven't got that much to remember them by, and he really struggled with that. But also, anyone that's bereaved by suicide, which I found with Alfie, was the feeling of isolation that he felt and the feeling that he wasn't good enough. He went through a long period of time thinking, well, my dad chose to take his own life because I wasn't a good enough child, and he really struggled with that, which is why they need specific suicide bereavement to help them get over those thoughts that they have themselves. And I can go to a meeting every month if I wanted to, as you said, with SOBS, but there's nothing for Alfie. And I did try as far away as Manchester, but I couldn't find anything.
Which is, a huge black hole, isn't it? Because if we talk about and we look at suicide numbers, and unfortunately we're talking about thousands of people every year, we're not just talking about individuals, we're talking about the wives, the partners, the husbands, the brothers, the sisters, and of course the children as well. It's one of those things where you would think, why is that provision not there? Why is it not there?
And it needs to be dealt with at an early age, because I know from experience that some people say that suicide can be a learnt behaviour, especially if they don't get help, the children, when it happens to their parents. And that was one of the things Alfie was worried about. Will that happen to me? Will I do the same when I'm older? And I needed to get that out of his head as quickly as possible. Now, I'm trying to do that myself, but it would be good if there was someone trained specifically for children to help with that.
In terms of the Alfie Squad project, if you like, and the things that he's been doing, the fundraising that he's been doing, the publicity that he's raised for the fundraising as well, have you found that to be helpful, this proactive step in terms of his sort of recovery from the situation he found himself in?
It's really helping him, because one of the things when he lost his dad was that with the letter that he wrote to Everton, was that he realised that even though he's having a bad time, there are other people that are also suffering. Now, at the time, he didn't realise how prevalent it was and how many children would obviously be affected. So being able to help others, and obviously Everton and Everton community have given us so much support, that it has helped him. He gets the odd day where he gets upset and thinks all this amazing stuff is happening, but I had to lose my dad for it to happen. But then he realises that he's, hopefully, even if one person changes their mind or seeks help by listening to what Alfie's gone through, then he's going to help potentially other children.
But that's a great responsibility for a young boy to take on his shoulders, where, ideally he'd just be focusing on his family and himself, at that time. And it seems strange that, we're waiting for the People's Place to be built and for the facility to be there and open so that people like Alfie can use it. In terms of that ongoing help, is that something you're still looking for Alfie? A room for him to sit in, somebody for him to talk to, a mindfulness sort of project maybe that's aimed at young people that he can get involved in?
Well, when I speak to Alfie about it, he's gone from wanting counselling to wanting basically a youth club, for want of a better word, for children who've gone through the same thing as him. Now, Everton and the community are looking to start that up sooner rather than later. They're not going to wait for the building to be built. So they said it's something they're looking into now to get it started as soon as possible. So children who have lost parents to suicide or self-inflicted death, which is another overlooked thing, will be able to meet children who have been through the same situation, and without having to go into a counselling session, know that they're with people that understand if they want to talk, and if they don't want to talk, they've got a friendship group. We lost a lot of friends after Keith died because, in my opinion, parents didn't want to be answering awkward questions, as they knew that Alfie knew what had happened. I told him the truth at his age level, and the people just kept away from us, and he feels very isolated because kids being kids, what's really upset him one day is yesterday. So the kid sort of got over the fact that he'd lost his dad pretty quickly, but then clearly Alfie wouldn't. So he translated that into, my friends, I don't think they understand. And it's one of the things I have to explain to them the most is that the children, they have different ways of dealing with things because they haven't gone through what you've gone through. They're not going to get it as much.
It was interesting to hear him say, that they'd say, "Oh, I lost my grandparents."
Yeah.
They were clearly trying to empathise with him and try and sympathise with his situation. But of course, they're obviously not able to on the level to which he was looking for it as well. We talk about the word stigma all the time on the show, and people think that there's no stigma around talking about mental health anymore. But suicide and that comes back time and time again. People who lose someone to suicide, the stigma around it, that people don't know what to say or think it's going to be awkward, so they literally don't say anything, or they cross the street, or they don't call anymore, or they don't invite you round anymore. It's unbelievable how often that comes around, because that's people sort of blocking you out, which seems like a really strange response. But then that's what stigma is. There's the ignorance around it. I don't know what to say. I don't have a clue what I'm supposed to say, so I won't say anything. Yeah. And it's best that I never speak to that person ever again, which is it's a bizarre reaction, really. When actually what you might actually require is that person to be there, maybe not even saying anything, just being there.
Even if they turn up and say, "I don't know what to say to you," just being there and knowing that, you think they're thinking of you. That was one of the hardest things for me, that seeing people that I'd see most days, I've not seen since, and it wasn't so bad for Alfie, but there would be people that would sort of keep the distance purely because Alfie knew what had happened, and I've encouraged him to talk as much as possible.
In terms of Alfie, he's done a radio interview today. Hopefully we're doing this in a responsible as way as possible. The opportunities that will come his way. He mentioned, some of the TV networks as well that were interested in his story. He's obviously a very young man, and he's still incredibly vulnerable as well. Is that something that you've got to sort of manage? Is that something you're always trying to bear in mind, that at the end of the day, he's just a kid and he still needs to be a child?
Oh yeah, I mean, this only takes up a very small amount of his time. He still plays his football and sees his friends. He will only do things if he wants to do it. He gets, like, last week we were meant to be doing some fundraising, and he wasn't feeling up to it, so we just said, "Really sorry, we know we can't do it today," and we went the match instead. So he's not. This isn't something he's been forced into. When he wrote his original letter to Everton, the first I saw of it was when he handed it to me. Said, "Can you post that?" He's always been a very thoughtful child, and he's very emotionally aware for his age. So it's just his choice to do it.
You brought the letters along with you. We've got an updated letter. He's written a few thoughts down.
A couple of months ago, Everton, the community, had a health and wellbeing conference, and they asked me to speak there, and Alfie couldn't go because he was in school, so he typed a letter out, which is basically what he wanted me to read to the people at the conference as way of he couldn't be there, so he sent a letter.
Could I ask you to read it out on the programme now?
Yeah. It says, "Dear everyone, it has been 2 years since my dad died. It has been tough the past 2 years, but I have had positive things happen as well as negative. It was difficult at first, but I now understand more why my dad did what he did. I also understand now that it wasn't my fault. It doesn't make it any easier, but I have found ways to get through it, and my mum has been very supportive and helpful. I found that my family and my dog really helped, as well as learning about mental health. When it first happened, I never thought I would be happy again, but I proved myself wrong. Everton and the community have been so supportive, and the People's Place is a great idea. I wish it had been around when I needed it. I'm glad it will be able to help many people in the future. If I was the boss of the People's Place, I would make sure we can help as many people as possible. I think children need to be in a group of people in the same situation to talk about their feelings. I would love a youth club for children affected by suicide, and their friends can come too if they want. It would be nice to not have to talk about it all the time, but feel safe knowing that the children there understand what each other is going through. My mum thinks that there should be a youth club for the grown-ups too, so they can make new friends. We both lost a lot of friends and my dad died as people didn't want to come and see us. If any mums or dads are struggling with their mental health, please don't do anything harmful because you can get help. Your children love you and want you to feel better. Talking always helps. For any children in the same situation as me, talk about it. Don't bottle it up. You can still live your life to the limit. I understand it sucks, but I have been through it too. Each day will gradually get brighter. From Alfie, the boss of Alfie's squad."
You must be very proud of him.
Oh, I'm very proud of him. He's brilliant. You know, we keep each other going when it gets tough. But he's doing really, really well. I mean, I'm super proud of him.
We wish him all the best with the ongoing fundraising. It's an ongoing story, as everybody's story is, and something we hope to sort of keep people posted with, up to and including the launch of the youth club and the youth club for grown-ups as well. I think I'd like to join a youth club for grown-ups as well. Absolutely. Thanks for coming on the programme today, Alison. Thanks for bringing Alfie along. We've sent him on a little tour of the radio studio, so shall we go and see if we can track him down?
Yeah, let's try and find him.
People want to find out more information about Alfie's squad, you can do so via social media, but also just type it in on Google and it's the first thing that comes up with a link to the fundraising pages there. We'll get links up on our social media channels as well. Don't forget, if you've been affected by any issues that we've touched on the show, you can find local mental health services close to you via the Hub of Hope, hubofhope.co.uk. That's hubofhope.co.uk. There's also an app on Android and iOS, and you can use your location on your device to find services close to you. SOBS, we gave a mention to as well. If you type that into a search engine, you'll find local services close to you too. Alison and Alfie's story. Alfie's squad.
Mental Health Monday
on Radio City Talk
with Mick Coyle.
Tackling the stigma.
Radio City Talk.